What's going on, all you sober souls? Sam here.
Hey, what's up, sober souls? This is Caleb. How y'all doing?
Today we are going to be talking about gratitude and uh, a perspective on life.
Yeah, everything that we're grateful for, Sam. Um, I got to say at the top of my list has got to be my life in recovery versus life before recovery.
Yeah,
My life in recovery is what I'm the most grateful for, and being sober is what I'm the most grateful for, so that I can be there for my family, for my friends, my daughter, my dad, my sister, close friends. Wouldn't be able to be there for people if I wasn't sober. So
yeah.
that's number one for me. What about you?
Um, my family, or like my mom and my twin sister, because have always been there for me, and if I didn't have them, I'd probably be dead or in prison or like a fucking hitman or something.
Yeah, that if I had to single it down to one person for me, it'd be really easy. That's my dad for me. My dad's the only person that never gave up on me when I was in full blown addiction. When this shit hit the fan, I didn't call mom or grandma or my brother or sister. I called my dad.
Yeah.
He always got me through, you know,
Yeah.
any situation that I
Tilt
ever
tilt
thought
your
of.
microphone a little down.
Yeah. He always got me, back to square one, back to basics. Um, but yeah, the one person for me would definitely be him. Everybody else gave up on me. I gave up on myself. I thought God had given up on me, but I was wrong.
Yeah. Same with my mom. I mean my dad gave up on me. Uh my two half sisters, they don't talk to me. One of them doesn't have anything to do with me, and then one of them just says happy birthday and stuff like that. But yeah, I get that feeling of uh people giving up on you. Um, it was like that for me. Um, but my mom was always there. She was my rock. Like if I was high and paranoid, she would always tell me I'm safe, I'm safe, I'm safe. And it's like where I'm just sitting there shaking because I'm so scared.
Hmm.
You know that feeling? And just for her to like put her hand on my back for that 1 second and say it's okay, you're safe.
Yeah.
You know?
Usually it was a doctor or a nurse or a paramedic that was or a cop or
Yeah.
social worker or mental illness caseworker
Yeah.
or somebody else put their hand on my back. My family was always too far away. Um, I don't have any. The closest family that I've got to here to Seattle would be my dad down in Northern California. He's about a 12-hour drive away, and
Yeah.
that's something else that I'm grateful for, is that he's not that far. I mean, it takes a day to get there, but if I'm on the I-5 here at Northgate by like 2 a.m., because I'll go to bed early the night before, get up 1:30, be all packed up, hit the road by 2. I'm there by like 3:30, so it's really not that bad, and it's a beautiful drive. I drive through the whole state of Oregon, so shout out to all you people in Oregon. You guys have got a beautiful state.
Mm-hmm.
But that's something else I'm grateful for. The other thing that I'm really grateful for is that it's 2026. I have a psychiatrist, I have a psychologist, and these are people that have their doctorates. These are doctors that have specialized care, training, and schooling and all that kind of stuff. So I'm grateful that I'm alive. Now, I used to always wish that I lived like back at the turn of the century, when like around like the late 1800s, early 1900s,
Yeah.
when all the gold rushes and stuff were going on up in the Yukon and whatnot. I used to think it would have been really cool to live a long time ago, but if I would have been me back then, they'd have put me in a cage,
Yeah.
because without my point is that it's 2026 and we have doctors that know what they're talking about when it comes to mental illness. I'm grateful for those doctors, and I'm grateful for the medications that they provide, because for me, as a bipolar, schizoaffective, drug addict, alcoholic, those medicines that I take every night are vital.
Yeah.
They're crucial. They can't be not taken for me. I know what life is like without them. Am I happy that I have to take some pills every night? No. But it's like I say again, it's 2026, and just about everybody now takes something for something.
Yeah.
And so my point, I'm grateful that I've got the resources to counter anything mental that I go through.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm grateful for the same thing. Like there are some things that I'm not happy about, like the weight gain from antipsychotics, which is, next to impossible to drop and, very easily to gain. I'm not happy about that, but I am happy and grateful for having it so that I'm not batshit crazy,
Yeah.
you know?
I'm the same, Sam. I've gained a lot of weight in sobriety. I've gained a lot of weight. Sam and I take a lot of the same medicines. And, we're both bigger guys, but I would rather be a little bit bigger and sane and functional than to be thin as a rail
Yeah.
and batshit fucking crazy, ready for the psych ward, the padded room, and some grippy socks.
Yep.
I've had enough of those years.
I
Years it
do I
was
do
like
like
that.
the traction on them grippy socks.
It's pretty good, man. But dude, the bathrooms in those
Yeah.
places, dude, there's piss all over the
Yeah, I
floor.
know. It's
Like,
it's gross.
oh, it's gross. It's gross. I'd much rather be at home.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for freedom,
Mhm.
like actually being able to um have free will.
Mhm.
That's something I didn't really have in addiction because we were a slave to a pipe or a slave to a needle, slave to
A bottle.
a bottle, whatever it is. For me it was a pipe, but like yesterday, how I got to go and experience a watch party for the World Cup that was in Seattle with the U.S. playing in Seattle. Now that's like a once in a lifetime experience.
Yeah, and the US won. We beat
Yeah,
Australia 2-0.
2-0. Yeah, and it's like, would I be able to go and do something like that if I were using?
And remember it? Probably not.
No, I wouldn't. I would be too paranoid to leave the house. And it was something that like was really, really fun. Like the energy there was insane. And like having free will to like do sober souls, to continue going to IOP and receive help, you know having the autonomy of choice. That's something I'm also grateful for. I'm also grateful, um you know some people aren't going to agree with what I'm going to say. I'm grateful for my addiction because it taught me a bunch of life lessons. you know um Taught me to um like before I was naive, and now it's like I understand the world's rules, and I wouldn't be who I am today without it.
Yeah, I've had some world lessons too. Go off your meds and try to self medicate with street drugs and see where you wind up. I ended up either in a psych ward padded room or in a solitary confinement jail cell with no clothes.
Hmm.
I can't, they did that to me several times. I can remember one time that I'm great. I'm with Sam on I'm grateful for, everything that I've gone through, um, to get me to where I'm at today, you
It made
know.
us stronger
Yeah, it's
soldiers.
made us much stronger. Yeah, like today, if I think about picking up, a pipe or doing a line or having a shot or whatever, today I'm able to play that tape all the way through because that's just an impulse, probably set off by some kind of trigger in my mind, and I think, it might be different this time.
Yeah.
And my disease tells me to believe that lie that it would be different this time. But if I use the tools
Yeah,
that
coping
I've
skills.
learned and coping skills, then I can combat that and play the tape all the way through.
Yeah,
What's it going to look like once I'm high? What's that going to look like? Well, number one, it's going to greatly affect my bank account.
yeah,
However much money I have is about to be spent because once I get going on stuff like that, um, you know, it's used until I pass out, black out, or run out of money,
yeah,
whatever happens first.
yeah,
And when the money's gone and the drugs are gone, the girls are gone.
yeah.
And then you're sitting there at 3 a.m. with a bloody nose. For me, I'm sitting there at 3 a.m. with a bloody nose, broke, and I just got paid like 12 hours before. And there it is, early in the morning, and I'm fiending for more dope. And unless somebody fronts me,
Mhm.
I'm not going to be able to get any more. That's what the end result is going to be every single time. And then I got to get through my Saturday and Sunday with no money, and then you know, um, hope for the best the next week.
Yeah.
But
It's like also like part of me is saying like grateful for the experiences because it's like we've been through hell and back, and it's like if I can go through these experiences, I can go through anything life throws at me, you know? Something I'm also grateful for is music. Music is something that has helped me greatly, not just like with addiction, but also mentally. Um, music's an art form. It's a way to say things that are too hard to say in reality. Um, and for me, it's a life changer. Like also like how on Saturdays we have a little jam sesh.
yeah, we're gonna do that today. We're gonna play some Blue on Black. Me and Sam and Dave.
Hmm.
We're the first three members of this music group that we're hoping to get together. And I've been practicing some on my guitar,
Yeah,
and trying to memorize chords and play songs and stuff. That's going to be a great thing for us, I think, is getting a band going and making some music. And you know um I'm not working right now, Sam's not working right now, so um you know uh financially it took a lot to get Sober Souls going, so we're gonna have to wait a little while, I think, to get the but we can still jam, and that's what we've been doing every Saturday. And I think what we're going to continue to do on Saturday afternoons, is at least the three of us get together and jam. It's
yeah,
going to be good. So I want to go back to our topic today, which is gratitude, guys. And I want to go to some other things that I'm grateful for, that a lot of us take for granted. And I want, for me, it's always, bring it back to basics. So some other things that I'm very grateful for are like electricity, air conditioning,
yeah.
running water,
Air conditioning is a must.
you know, um, more than enough food for myself and for my daughter, clean clothes and a washing machine and a dryer that I can do my laundry right there in my house, and don't have to go to a laundromat, because I remember those days going to the laundromat like every other week and spending like 2 hours there and
Yeah,
like $25 washing and drying everything. That was a pain in the ass. So I'm grateful for my washer and dryer. I'm grateful for my bed, my soft pillows. I got $100 pillow last year after Christmas. $100 pillow for 24.95 at I don't even remember, somewhere at Alderwood Mall.
yeah.
Clean sheets, clean clothes, underwear, socks, shoes that fit.
Hmm.
Um, clothes that fit. Basic stuff like that. I
Yeah,
think a lot of times we take that for granted. There's a lot of people in the world that don't have hardly any of what we just talked about,
yeah.
the things that I just mentioned. And, try to get my kid to understand that, so we went to Mexico a couple of weeks ago, and she has a little bit better understanding. Those people down there, they don't have much at all, but
Hmm.
they're happy, they're friendly, they're kind, they're honest, they're hardworking. And we were just down in Cabo a couple months ago with my dad, and we had an absolute blast. And that was Maddie's first taste of, third world country.
Yeah. Something I'm also grateful for is aloe vera. Yesterday, you guys can't tell because I got sleeves on, is I got sunburnt as fuck.
He looks like a lobster, guys.
Yeah, it's bad. And I'm grateful to have this to help me out today, and so I don't die. Uh, but third world countries, yeah. I don't know if you're gonna be able to go find some aloe vera, you know.
You would find an aloe vera plant.
Yeah, but not the gel.
Well, but the plant, you can, you, when you squeeze it, it's gel.
No,
It's like
yeah.
jelly. It's like it's like that sun stuff that I brought you today that's the after sun. That's what I used on Maddie
Yeah.
after we went to Mexico because she got burned up, especially her little nose.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she got burnt up, and so I went to the store the day we got back and got that and used, and it worked good for Maddie. I hope it works good for you. It should.
Yeah. So I'm also grateful for his friends.
Mm.
Brotherhood, fellowship, camaraderie. Because you can get really lonely, especially like the first, couple months to a year, in sobriety.
Well, yeah, because they tell you that the only thing that has to change is everything.
Yeah.
And so when you take that to heart, you start to change your playgrounds, you start to change your playmates, and your life changes. If you lie down with dogs, you get fleas,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not trying to sound self-righteous or whatnot, but you got to run with, the winners. I don't hang out with people that drink or drug at all. My friends are all sober. I'd say 99.9% of them. I just don't run around with people that are drinking and drugging. I don't go to bars. I don't go to clubs. I did when I was your age, and I had a lot of fun. But by 29, the show was over for me.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the last night that I drank and used. I'm grateful for all the people in recovery that have helped me out along the way. All the guys, all the girls, all the, senior citizens that I looked up to that had, been sober longer than I've been alive, old timers, and newcomers as well. I need to hear fresh, this is what just happened, because it's usually a wow, kind of story, and you can't make this shit up.
Yeah.
The things the things that happen in sobriety, and just I sometimes I wish that I had somebody with a video camera following me around, because like I said, you just can't make this shit up. Things happen, good things. When one thing that I've learned is that when you're doing good things happen.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're doing bad things happen. And sometimes, it's hard to do those good things. But like I said earlier, if you play the tape forward with whatever situation you're in, and you're sober and you're able to, kind of have some foresight and look and say, okay, this might be fun for 30 minutes or whatever, but what's the end result? And I guess that's not true. I go in a bar every once in a while to shoot some pool or something like that.
Yeah, like we did that last week.
Yeah, we just did that last week. Yeah, but so I guess I do some, but my point, I'm there to do something different besides drink. And I can look around and see people making fools of themselves and thinking to myself, I'm grateful that I'm sober right now.
Yeah.
I don't have to open mouth, insert foot.
Yeah. Yeah. It was funny yesterday at the viewing party. I was sitting in the beer garden. Everyone around me is getting fucked up. And I'm just thinking, you guys are fucking idiots. Like, or for the normies, like, good for them. It'd be nice to do that. But for me, I can't.
If you go to dinner and order a drink, I don't care if it's a glass of wine or a tumbler of beer or some kind of mixed drink, whatever, right? And you drinking your drink and you finish your food and you get up and leave, and half or more of your drink is still on the table and you don't finish that drink, you just leave it. That was something that I never did. I don't
Yeah,
think I
same.
ever left a drop
Nope.
of anything. And if it had ice, I was gonna I
Yeah,
was gonna take that down the hatch too,
yeah,
but I never left a drink on the table,
yeah,
or a bottle not never did I not finish that bottle
yeah,
and
same,
throw it out. So
same.
if you can drink like normal people, I know a few people that can do that, people in my family that are not drug addicts,
Yeah, same.
that are not alcoholics, and they can go in a bar and drink 2 beers and go home, and that's it. Show's over. Now I can't do that. Have never been able to do that, and would probably not ever be able to do that.
Yeah, yeah. I couldn't do that. I have family members that are like that, but majority of my family just doesn't drink. I mean, my grandma does, but she has like a glass of wine just with dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it was crazy because, like, for me, yesterday I went out. My aunt and my cousin are in town from Idaho, and I went out to lunch with them, a late lunch at Ivers on Lake Union. And you know, they didn't know about my struggles until they saw it on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And it was crazy because it's like they're asking me all these questions, and it's like, for them, like, hearing that was just like glass shattering moments, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm grateful to have actually family members that are normies, so they don't have to go through what I've been through.
Yeah, I think in a family, I think all of the normies, they feel a lot of the hurt and the pain just as bad as the addict or alcoholic is
Yeah,
suffering. They're feeling pain that's that's a direct result of
yeah,
my free will and my choices,
yeah,
and how my choices and my actions affect other people.
yeah,
And that's what it's about today. It's not all about Caleb. It's about other people. It's about my little brother Dylan. It's about my little sister Katie, my other sister Marianne, my brother Jacob. My daughter. Um, Even before them, I would say, you know, first comes Maddie, then comes everybody else. And I've kind of taken a step back from a real social scene and running around and doing this and doing that all the time. I've kind of taken a few steps back here recently and tried to, bring it all back to core and, just take care of myself and my daughter, and then not be such a pretzel and a people pleaser and, you know, continuously going out of my way to help other people is part of my way of life. But, when I start to feel taken advantage of by those people,
mhm,
that's whenever I need to either lay down some boundaries or, you know, go to that setting where you block contact, you
mhm,
know. But I have to be real careful because I've got a kid. So the people I run around with and people that I bring into her world, they need to be safe, sound of mind, sober, medicated if they have issues or whatever. I can't have people like that around my kids, and I'm grateful to have like Sam was talking about, I'm grateful for the friends and the brothers, that I've got right here in Seattle. I got a whole phone full of, you know, good people that at the drop of a hat would probably stop doing whatever they were doing and come help,
mhm,
if I needed help with something, So all of my needs are met. My kids' needs are met. That's something that I'm grateful for. Now she doesn't have everything that she wants, but what kid does?
yeah,
What kid has that's ridiculous. But I'm grateful for everything that we've got. Like I said, our needs are met, and I'm grateful for that. Having a roof over my head and having a vehicle that's paid for, and all that kind of stuff is really nice. I don't have too many bills today besides rent. I've let go of a few things here recently. I guess I would say. And, like I said, trying to bring it all back to square one. Um, but I'm grateful to have, uh, every little thing that I've got.
Reliable transportation.
Books to read.
Mm-hmm. A podcast to shoot.
Avid reader. I'm always reading something. Yeah, our podcast, Sober Souls. I'm excited about this. We're going to start bringing people on the show, just so you guys know. We're going to start bringing like one person a week at least onto the show. We've got a list of people that want to come on and speak and share their experience, strength, and hope. And we're going to start doing that soon. Are we doing that possibly tomorrow if we can get a hold of Concrete?
Yeah, tomorrow at noon.
Okay. You confirmed?
I'm going to confirm today.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to bring a guy on. His name's Aaron, but he's also known as Concrete. He's a musician, and he's got one hell of a story. And it'll probably be, I'm hoping I can get him to relax on camera and open up and tell his story. Because if we can get him to do that, I'm telling you guys, he's got a really powerful story. He's got 7 or 8 or 9. I can't remember exactly where he's at, but he's somewhere around
8 years.
Somewhere around 8, 9 years. Yeah. And if you guys think I'm big, you wait till you see Aaron. Aaron's huge. He's the kind of guy you want to go places with, because you would have to be insane, high, or drunk to mess with. Like if me and you and Aaron were to go out to the club, you'd have to be packing.
Yeah.
You'd have to have some heat on you.
No.
Because we're all pretty good sized guys.
Yeah, we're all big and scary and burly.
I don't know about the burly. I just trimmed my beard. I recommend you do the same. You're starting to look like Santa Claus.
Yeah, Ginger Claus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are a few of the things. I'll tell you something else I'm thankful for is sports.
Yeah,
right.
Same.
I love watching football, specifically college football.
Mm-hmm. Go Dogs.
Go Tigers.
Tigers.
LSU, baby. LSU.
That's wrong. You're fired. Fired from Sober Souls.
Yeah, I'm not such a big fan of any Washington colleges. As when I was growing up, I went to a lot of games, played in a lot of games myself, but went to a lot of games as well. Love watching the Longhorns, love watching Texas A&M Aggies, LSU Tigers. Those are my favorite teams. North Carolina Tar Heels.
Go Dogs. Fuck the Dogs.
He says he's just keep on saying go Dogs.
Go Dogs. Hoop, 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 hoop. Dogs. I went to UW, so that's my school.
Yes, but never mind.
I also dropped out though.
I was about to say, and did you graduate?
No. I had a 4.0.
No.
I had a 4.0.
No. That's a big no. But that's okay. I tried college too several times. I was there for all the wrong reasons.
Pretty much, yeah.
All the wrong reasons. But damn, did I have a good time.
Yeah, I remember my English teacher or professor would always call me Senor Gringo because I was always smelling like weed. Or Cheech and Chong.
When my freshman year, the weed dealer at our school had a little Honda Civic.
Yeah.
And, this is back in the 90s when, and I was living in Hot Springs, Arkansas. And this guy had, he was in my grade, so he's a freshman, but, he sold weed.
Yeah.
And, this is back when I was starting to get into some of that too, and definitely was smoking a lot of it. And he lived in our neighborhood, and he really just lived, just a minute or two walk from me. He wasn't that far away. Anyways, this guy, he always had weed on him, and he was one of the only kids that was 16 or 15, 16 back then, 15, 16, I can't remember, that had a car. And the reason he had a car is because he had saved enough money selling marijuana to pay for a car, because his parents weren't rich, wealthy, any of that. I mean, we were middle class. We were middle class. So he saved up and got this little black Honda Civic, which made, dealing drugs even easier for him. And he started to make even more money. And he got some heat on him because some parents, cracked down on their kids, for smoking marijuana. And back then they wanted to know, where did you get it? Nowadays, where did you get it? I don't know, some fucking weed store because it's legal now, right?
Yeah.
But back then, big time trouble. So I remember one day the police came to the school parking lot and searched his car. And they didn't find any actual weed really, but they found a bunch of seeds.
Mm-hmm.
And just for having the seeds, he got in quite a bit of trouble. Um, but my point, that was a big deal back then.
Yeah.
Um, nowadays it's illegal in most states. So there's a lot of controversy over that. But anyways, yeah, playing the tape forward, um, I tried doing the same stuff, selling drugs and whatnot when I was in my early 20s. And, I had some success at it. My ambition
Mm-hmm.
far outweighed my talent,
Yeah.
you
Same.
know. But
I've
I
done
was,
my fair share of that.
yeah.
But this brings up something else for gratitude is not being, locked up, not being behind bars, because probably both of us should be,
Well, yeah. I mean,
you know.
Yeah, I mean, if they could prove that I've done everything that I've done, yeah, they'd lock me away for life. I'm sure. I've done some really crazy, sketchy shit when I was unmedicated and high on whatever.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of really stupid things, made a lot of really bad decisions, and in other countries, I'd have fingers chopped off or hands chopped off or whatever because I've done it all for the
Yeah.
most part. There's certain things that I haven't done, but I've done a lot.
Yeah. Same.
I got a lot of experience, you know. It's just an awareness, and that's something else that I'm grateful for today is awareness and consciousness, and being able to hear that still small voice. And, when something, I try to stay on track. And when something tries to pull me off track, that's that moment of self will that God gives us is we have that choice. Am I going to drive over to the dope man's and get some dope and think that it's going to be different this time? Or am I going to pause and think to myself, okay, this is what's going to happen. And I'm grateful to be able to do that today. Back in the day, I didn't have a choice. I would just, my car would just mysteriously drive itself to the dope man's. And once I got started, I didn't stop, like I said, till I was out of money.
Yeah.
But today to be able to play that tape through is something that I'm grateful for. Um, and I never would have done that if I wouldn't have got sober. I never would have.
Yeah. The point of us like having this gratitude episode is like something I do every day is write three things I'm grateful for, gratitude list. Because if you're able to start a day off with gratitude, you're able to have a good mentality to start off the day.
And I'm grateful for my relationship today with my higher power.
Yep, same.
I do get down on my knees time to time and pray. And then I also pray a lot of the time when I'm driving or when I'm by myself or um especially when I'm by myself. Um and I feel closer to my higher power when I'm outdoors, when I'm out in nature
Yeah.
and kind of let the forest and the trees and the animals. And then here in Washington we've got mountains and ocean and lakes and whatnot. And you know um
There's also like desert here too.
yeah, on the other side of the mountains there sure is. So we've got a little bit, it's Seattle was built in, this is a rainforest, bro.
Yeah.
This is the only rainforest in northern America.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful here. It really is. So like I was saying, being out in nature, especially when I'm fishing up on Whidbey Island and, I got my chest waders on and I'm out there catching salmon and, I feel close to God. I feel close to my relatives that have passed. Um, and I get to do all that sober and be close to them and do something fun at the same point in time, which is stretch my line and catch fish.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Sam this summer. He's didn't get to do much fishing growing up, so we're going to try to change that come September.
Yep. Yep. I'll be a pro fisher soon enough.
And I'll be a pro guitarist soon enough.
Damn straight.
Yeah.
Damn straight. Well, uh, that's a pretty good length episode, I would say.
Yeah, it is. I think we should just wrap it up for today. I want
Yeah.
to thank all you guys for tuning in.
Yeah.
Hope you all are
Something
happy.
that's also something else we're grateful for is you guys.
Yeah, we're grateful for all of you guys, and you guys are the reason we're doing this. Hopefully something someday that one of us or somebody that comes on the show that we interview or a friend or whoever, we're just hoping that something that we say might trigger in your mind and help you to get clean and sober. So this is Caleb at Sober Souls signing off. I'll take another 24.
Yeah, this is Sam. Go like, share, comment, subscribe. All right, guys. Sober
Sober
Souls.
Souls.